This is Anarchast.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. We're continuing on with our Young Female Beautiful Anarchist Month, and I might have to throw in cute just for our next guest. Her cheeks are so cute. Name's Brittany. She's from Team Brittany, a great podcast, or I don't know what they call them nowadays, these young kids. And actually, I forgot to ask, where are you coming in from, Brittany? Where do you live?
I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, Orlando, Disney World.
Technically, Disney is not in Orlando.
Yeah, I believe that.
I have to say that because, I hate that Orlando is, known for Disney World, and, it's not even in Orlando.
Okay, I touched a chord there, obviously a very... But first question I always ask everyone is, how did you become an anarchist?
I think I followed a pretty similar path to a lot of people. I was relatively politically active when I was younger, but it was my parents were Republicans, and I kind of just followed in that niche that they had. And I moved out of their house when I was 18, and kind of just got sick of politics for a while and didn't really care about it, didn't pay attention to it. And then one night, late, I was listening to Coast AM, and I heard Ron Paul come on. He was being interviewed on there, and I just loved the guy. I loved everything he had to say. And I hadn't heard a politician in a while that I liked or agreed with or thought was a decent human being.
Yeah, there's not too many of them.
Yeah. So I was very surprised, and after I heard that interview, I got on the computer and I looked him up and watched a lot of videos by him, and I kind of just became enthralled with him for a while. And I did a lot of work with volunteering for him during the last couple elections. And but then finally, he mentions a lot of other reading suggestions. Obviously, if you've read his books, he's got about 1 million citations written down. And I finally started, diving deeper into that. And I read a few. I read The Road to Serfdom first, and then others from then, Economics in One Lesson and such books like that. And which is funny because I never thought I would be the type of person that was into reading about economics. It always seemed so boring to me, but Keynesian economics is really boring, which is what you're taught.
Oh God, it's so boring. And it's so wrong too. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Exactly, it's so boring, and it's made for people to not be able to understand it very well. So.
Yeah, I actually went to. I never went to college, but I wanted to learn economics a long time ago, like 1993 probably. And actually went to a community college. I signed up for economics. I walked out on the first day of the class. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. This is stupid.
Yeah.
And once you find Austrian economics, it all becomes so clear.
Exactly. Yeah. Then once you don't separate economics once you don't compartmentalize economics from the rest of everything else in your life, it becomes a lot more interesting. But so finally, though, I read For a New Liberty by Murray Rothbard, and that just kind of turned me for forever.
That's great. So as usual, Ron Paul is the gateway drug to anarchy.
Exactly. That's why, I can never totally discredit Ron Paul for anything, because I feel like I wouldn't be where I am today without him. So.
Yeah, I'm still not sure if he's a full anarchist or not. I've heard different things from different people. I know a lot of people who know him very well, and I still haven't got a totally concrete answer. I think he basically is.
I know. I mean, I really feel like he probably is a closet, anarchist. But I don't know. Then he does things and I don't want to comment too much on his recent, website ronpaul.com thing, because I guess I probably don't really know too much about it to make a judgment on it. But it just kind of seems like an anti-free market move on Ron Paul's part. But.
Oh, really? I haven't looked into it at all. I know his son, Rand is irritating me all the time.
Oh, yeah, Rand, I just don't even bother with.
He must have been adopted or something.
Yeah, I don't really worry about Rand. Rand and the people that try to justify everything he does, yeah.
It's interesting because people kind of put him and Ron Paul in the same sort of thing when they're totally not. Really, the things they say are totally different.
Yeah.
I wonder if Rand's almost like a typical kid rebelling from his father or something. But he's definitely not even. I wouldn't even call him a libertarian. I call him a neocon, really.
Yeah, no, I would not call Rand Paul a libertarian.
Yeah. I don't know much about him. I just know that when I hear a few things he says, like, hey, we got to go over and kill people, that doesn't sound very libertarian.
Yeah, I mean, I know people are like, well, he's just trying to play, he just plays the political game better than his dad, and, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know. He really seems like he wants to be president. And I really feel like Ron Paul just did not really care that much about being president.
Yeah, Adam Kokesh had a lot to say on that. He was basically saying, because he was sort of a giant Ron Paul supporter, and then near the end, when he was still actually running for president, Adam started saying, you can actually tell he actually doesn't want to win. He's just there just to get these words out there and spread the word.
Yeah, I really think Ron was just kind of using it as a platform to spread ideas, whereas it really seems like Rand wants to be president.
And plus, if Ron did win, they did.
Disturbing to me. Anybody who wants to be president, I'm just like,
And plus, not to mention, if Ron Paul did become president, he'd be assassinated on the first day. So that's probably another reason he probably wouldn't want to become president.
Exactly. I know that was always one of my concerns. Actually, was that he's definitely like, if Kennedy is going to be assassinated, then Ron Paul is definitely going to be assassinated.
Oh yeah, he walks into the Department of Defense and says, "Oh, we're going to shut her down." You watch how quickly things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill Hicks has a great thing on that where he says all presidents probably get called in the first day that they become president and into a dark room with a bunch of wealthy industrialists and they put on the JFK assassination from an angle they've never seen before.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, I've seen that before. Actually, it's hilarious. But I feel like that probably is exactly how it happens.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. And it is disturbing anyone who does want to become president. I think I saw a quote from somebody who said, if we are going to elect a president, it should be the person who least wants to be it. And you know what I mean? Like, if you talk to everyone and the person is like, there's no way I'm doing it. Okay, make him president. Like, if you have to have a president.
Yeah, give it to the person who wants nothing to do with the job.
Yeah, because it's generally evil.
Yes, exactly. That much power.
Yeah, and the movie Lord of the Rings, I think that's just a metaphor for government. The state is the power. The Ring of Power is the state, and even Frodo could barely handle it. No one can handle it. I think I could handle it because here's what I would do if I'd obviously never run for president, but if they made me president, I would within 1 second I'd say everything's closed.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I would do too.
Close it all up.
Be there long enough to be corrupted.
Yeah. And I'm sure if I was around long enough, I'm sure I probably would, right? Because people would be coming in, hey, here's $1 billion. Just pass this law, and I'd be like, I could see how you could get corrupted by that. But I wouldn't even allow myself to get into that situation. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it starts small. People are willing to make small compromises, but then they just gradually get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. So does your family know you're an anarchist now? Oh,
they do. They do. I mean, it's like written on me pretty.
Yeah, you're pretty out there.
I'm pretty open about it. They do. They think I'm insane.
Yeah, that's fairly normal.
Yeah, they think I'm crazy. My dad is, a neocon, and my dad's side of the family is pretty much all neocon, and my mom is a Ron Paul supporter, so she's more open to the idea. I don't think it would be a while until she would say that full-on anarchy is possible or a good thing, but she'd be more easy to push in that direction.
Well, that's really the big question, right? A lot of people say that we're idealists, and this whole idea is it's a great, wonderful idea, but it will never work. And I think that gets confused with just the thought that can't we just try to do this? Do we have to prove that it's possible first? It's what I'm saying? It's a really, people get those two things misequated. They think, just because I interview so many anarchists, and many of them don't believe we'll ever have true anarchy in our lifetime. So it's not like we're idealists, but can't we just try?
The funny thing is that I find it ironic that anarchists are called idealists, because I feel like the idealists are the ones that are constantly trying to create a perfect society. Whereas I feel like anarchists, we just automatically acknowledge that a perfect society is not possible and it's never going to happen. But I would much rather live in a free society that I feel would be a lot more peaceful without government than constantly be living under a tyrannical government that's killing, millions of people around the world for like this idea of there being some sort of perfect society. Because I feel like people that promote government are more the idealists.
Yeah, they totally are, and it's funny. Like, did they not ever look at any evidence? 250 million people killed in the last century by their own government, and they're always like, well, they just did it wrong. Well, how many times do we have to keep trying this?
It's also funny too because we've tried governments a lot. We have a lot of examples of lots of different kinds of governments, but we don't have an example of anarchy, true anarchy. So it's funny that they say that would never work since we don't have any proof of that.
And it's funny too, like so many of these things are so obvious. The more freer the state is, the better off it is, the more prosper it is. You just have to look at East Germany, West Germany, North Korea, South Korea.
Yeah, exactly.
But people, I think they mostly have just been brainwashed. They've grown up in the government indoctrination centers and they salute the flag every day and the president's picture's on the wall and they're told that all these good things they have in their life are because of the government. And they just really have a hard time getting their head around that it isn't.
Yeah, actually, I should mention that one of the other kind of paths that led me to becoming an anarchist was when I was in college, when I first was going to university, I was going for an education degree. And I was planning on, teaching in public school system and such. And then one day I read Dumbing Us Down by John Taylor Gatto, who I discovered before Ron Paul. So he maybe even has more of an influence on my path to this than Ron Paul in some ways. But I quit the education department the next day.
Wow, that is impressive.
Yeah.
You're very much like me with the economics classes. Like, what? This is bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Just recognize that it's bullshit, and then you're like, I'm done with this. Time to move on. So yeah, I switched to a liberal arts degree just to finish, even though I regret going to college in general. But
I'm sure you had some fun, beer parties and stuff. And that's about all college is good for.
I didn't because I had a child like 2 years into college. I had to grow up fast and be responsible.
Yeah, those kids will change you. And education's a whole other topic, of course. I don't know if you've looked into homeschooling or unschooling. I'm really into now. We've had some.
I'm a huge proponent of unschooling. Yeah.
Yeah. So how old is your child?
She's 4.
Okay.
She's 4, and we'll probably do a mix of unschooling and Montessori.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about this Montessori. I don't know much about it. Do you know? You must know something about it if you're interested in it.
Yeah, I love Montessori. I've actually considered going to the teacher training before to be a Montessori teacher, but I do like it a lot. I mean, it promotes the individual and.
So what's it about in general?
Really, it's very similar. I mean, it has a lot of similar aspects to unschooling, whereas it's the child kind of guiding him or herself in his own learning experience and moving at their own pace. It's, but they're among their peers. And the idea is that they can voluntarily learn from their other peers if they choose to. And there's not tests, there's no grades. It's just in a real Montessori school. In some American Montessori schools, they've kind of changed it a little bit. But, teachers are more so there to help when the child wants help and to record their process. They just record it. They don't give tests and that type of thing.
Yeah, so how often do you do those Team Brittany videos?
We kind of got off of it for a little while, but we've been pretty good this year. We did our 3rd one of the year last night. And I mean, ideally we would like to do at least one a week. So we try for that, but our schedules are all kind of hectic and all over the place, so sometimes it's hard to be able to sit down and do it, but...
Yeah, it's hard rounding us anarchists up sometimes. I know that.
That's the other thing. It's we're all anarchists, so have this group thing that we but nobody's telling anybody what to do. There's not a leader of it, We just kind of have to, eventually we all come together and we're like, yeah, 9:30 on this day works. And yeah, we can do it about that subject. And Yeah.
That's great. And the other girls, are they called Brittany as well? Is that the deal?
We're all named Brittany, yes. Two of us, our middle name is Lee. So
Wow.
it's kind of funny, yeah. I mean, we all met each other through Ron Paul stuff. And I knew Brittany Himsaf first. And we had always kind of joked about, doing a Brittany thing. And then I met the other Brittany Lee at a Ron Paul event in Tampa. We both happen to live in Florida as well. And after I met the third one, I was like, okay, now we have to do something.
The third one. Yeah, it was just meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we have a fun time doing it. I don't know where it's going to eventually go, but right now we just kind of have fun with it, and if people get something out of it, then that's great,
Oh, totally. I saw one. I didn't realize you only had 3 so far. I was actually trying to find it on the internet, and you're not doing a very good job of marketing it because it's kind of hard to find.
Is it really? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I want to watch more of these, and I couldn't find any.
Oh.
But maybe it's because you only have 2 or 3.
No, I mean, we do. We have 14 videos, I think, on YouTube.
Okay. So
because we started last year, we actually started off, we did our very first few videos, commentaries on the presidential debates. So that's when we started.
Yes, that's the one I saw. I really liked that.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if it was the one that I was highly intoxicated in or not. But
that might have been another reason I might have liked it.
Because, you kind of have to be to discuss those things, so.
Oh, totally. I don't do any of these sober, believe me.
I can talk to somebody like you sober because it doesn't irritate me, but I can't comment on a subject that really makes me irate sober, no.
Yeah, it is really hard to be sober as an anarchist because there's so many crazy things you see every day, and it does drive you a little crazy, and you need, get me a glass of wine or something. I got to calm down.
Yeah, it really does, actually. I think, especially for me, when I start talking about like war stuff with people, it's when I start to get really kind of irate and mad about things.
Yeah, war is pretty bad. Yeah. I don't know why anyone likes that. There's a website called antiwar.com that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, that's the only sticker on my car is the antiwar.com sticker.
And I think to myself whenever I see that, it's like, who's pro-war?
Yeah.
Like that's like being pro-murder, pro-kidnapping, pro-rape.
Yeah. Yeah. But ironically, a lot of people that refer themselves as pro-life, are also pro. I guess they wouldn't say like they have the desire to bomb other people, but they certainly aren't necessarily against it. Because I mean, they're okay with it to a point.
And like I travel
okay with it to protect themselves. I mean, because that's the guise that it's presented under, even though that's not what it's really for. But
yeah, you have a country that has giant oceans on each side. To the north are those deadly Canadians. To the south are those horrible Mexicans that keep getting attacked by the U.S. every 100 years or so, and they're drinking a lot of beer, and they're on the beach all day. And most Americans own a gun. Yeah, it's ripe for attack. It's ripe for attack. I can see why you need the biggest military on earth.
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of terrorists after us, so.
Oh yes, of course. Most of them created by the U.S. Department of Defense.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. A lot of terrorists, courtesy of the United States of America.
Yeah. I travel the world a lot, and actually one of the only places that really is kind of pro-war is the U.S. And I think it's mostly again this system, the indoctrination, all the media. Constantly, I can't even watch TV in the U.S. You watch Fox News or any of that, and there's so many things flashing by, and like red alert, yellow, oh, something just happened here, and like my heart starts racing, and it's like, I look outside, it's like, oh, it's a beautiful day out, like they're just trying to get you scared all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to be scared, to remain in the state where you think that something as horrible as the U.S. government needs to continue existing.
Yeah.
Scared and dependent. Those are the two things they need you to be. And that's what, the education system teaches you.
Yeah, down here in Mexico, I don't watch TV here either, but my wife does, so I pass by every now and then. I see sometimes the news channel. It's usually some really hot Mexican girl, weatherman or weather girl, and she's dancing around and stuff. I much prefer that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's much better. No, we operate off of fear over here. We like fear.
Yeah, totally. And you can actually see it on the street. I visit the U.S. fairly often, and you can sense on the street this general uneasiness. And I'm not even sure exactly why, but it's not like really relaxed like it is in most places.
Yeah, I mean, people are even just scared of each other in this
Yeah.
country. Just scared of like walking down the street and like, oh no, homeless person's walking up to me. They're probably gonna kill me. Because the news, that's what they report. They're not going to report like, oh, some nice gentleman helped an old lady across the street today. No, they're going to tell you about who all got murdered and yeah.
Yeah, totally. So when's the next Team Brittany? When are you going to round up the girls for another one?
Actually, next week, this should be interesting. We are going to debate his name is Brad, and he's a self-described fascist.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
People actually call themselves that.
I know, that's what, like the minute
most people are, but they don't call themselves that.
Exactly. That's why I was like, wow, you actually just like own up to this. Like, you're just going to put yourself out there. And what's even more interesting is that he used to say he was an anarcho-capitalist. So.
What? I've never heard of anyone retreating from anarcho-capitalism.
I've never heard somebody doing the reverse before, so this is interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching this one. So how can people find you?
Let's see. Well, we have a Facebook website. It's facebook.com/Brittany Cubed because Team Brittany was taken. Or you can just search Team Brittany on Facebook and we'll pop up. And then on YouTube, we have a YouTube channel and it is Brit the Wit, which is spelled BRITT the WIT. So,
Great.
And you can subscribe to our channel.
Definitely, and I will, and maybe we can have the other two Brittany's on sometime in the future as well.
Definitely. Yeah, they're both very interesting girls, so you should.
Sounds good. And so yeah, thank you very much, Brittany from Team Brittany, and this has been another edition of Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. Peace, love, and anarchy.